So the big star of the Olympics is Jack Hughes, at least one of the stars. Jack Hughes is the guy who scored the game-winning goal for Team USA, bringing home the gold, but he was kind of the worse for wear. If you go back to that picture, he had some teeth knocked out during the game. He is still happy, still celebrating. In fact, as we speak right now, Team USA just landed in Miami, where we're going to take a wild guess and assume they're going to be partying. But at a point, he's going to have to deal with his teeth. So there is an official oral surgeon in dentistry for the New Jersey Devils, the team for which Jack plays. His name is Jason Auerbach, and Jason may be the one who is going to fix Jack's grill. So Jason joins us right now. Jason, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me, Orby.
So
happy to be here.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I never thought I'd be this excited to talk to a dentist, but I am. Okay, what do you see when you look at him right now?
Yeah, so many people know he had an injury from a high stick in the third period before he came back and then scored the overtime game winner. But the fact of the matter is, it looks like he has a fracture to the crown of what we call his left central incisor, his left front tooth. You can see it's the one that's basically chopped off. He also has a couple of other injuries that are not 100% clear based on not obviously having imaging. So we would bring him in, or he would be brought in to a dentist after making sure all the soft tissue was cleaned up and treated and all that. He'd have some imaging, a CBCT, some traditional x-rays, assuming, and basically, depending on what each individual tooth suffered, something would need to be done. That front tooth is going to need, obviously, some restorative work to get it back to aesthetically what it needs to be, and probably some endodontic work, what you guys would call a root canal. The tooth to his left, which is lateral incisor that's covered by blood, looks like it probably was subluxed, moved a little bit, which might indicate that there's a fracture in his maxilla, in his upper jaw. And then, of course, he's got some dental injuries on the lower. Obviously, he needs to be evaluated both radiographically and clinically, but some work's going to need to be done for sure.
Okay, so this, at first I thought this was going to be, bonding or replacing a tooth or something like that. This sounds like it's more severe than just that.
Yeah, I mean, so some of it may very well be able to be taken care of by bonding or some sort of aesthetic or cosmetic dentistry, veneer, crown, something restorative. But there's an endodontic role here too, meaning a root canal. The tooth that was kind of sheared off in the front that everybody's kind of paying attention to is very, very likely to be non-vital at this point and going to require endodontic treatment, a root canal. And then once the root canal is done, it's going to have to be rebuilt. Highly unlikely it needs to come out because usually when the tooth is injured like that, the root itself is intact because the force is taken by the crown of the tooth. So likely he'll keep that tooth and they'll just rebuild it.
So how long does it take before he can sit in your chair to have this all restored? Can they do it immediately? Do they have to wait for swelling to go down? What?
So swelling will peak at 48 hours. So assuming tomorrow morning his swelling will be peaking, there'll be some sort of temporary solution there. So when he visits the White House or does whatever he has to do, he'll have a tooth there. Not that he seems to care. But the fact is that there'll be something temporary in the interim. And then ultimately, it'll take probably a few weeks for it to be totally restored.
No offense to you, but if he goes to the White House, it'd be better if he goes before he sits in your chair. That would be pretty awesome.
Fair statement.
How long does it take to restore all this?
It depends on what needs to be done. If there's surgical intervention required where teeth need to be splinted or even removed and bone be grafted, which of course I can't know without seeing x-rays or him, it could take weeks, if not months. But based on what I'm seeing initially and what I think the situation will be, I think it's really just going to be a very short period of time till he's back to what he needs to be doing.
So you treat players for the Devils, right? You not just Jack, but all of them.
Well, we are the official oral surgeon. So if something rises to the level of requiring oral maxillofacial surgery, we will treat those patients, players, personnel, whoever.
And I assume you've done this with other players in the past.
We've treated many players in the past, yes.
What is their attitude like? It's sort of like, well, yeah, it kind of goes with the territory. Are they nervous, anxious, or are they just whatever? This is par for the course.
We'll tell you, I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but of all the athletes we treat, hockey players are the most amazing humans to deal with. They're generally very, very resilient. They're very respectful of what we need to do. They understand, and I mean, they're humans, so they have trepidation, they have fear, they have anxiety, and all that. But when we're treating them, we're making their lives better. We're helping them, and by and large, they're very appreciative of what we're doing for them.
You do realize that if you scare them a lot, it may prevent fights on the ice.
You know what? I never thought about that role. I'll consider playing that role going forward, or maybe not.
I'm serious. I mean, if you act like Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors, right, they may not fight anymore in the ice.
That's true. That's true. Maybe I could change the game for the better.
Okay, so safe to say, probably not this week. He's going to get this restored. I would assume it would take a few days.
Yeah, he won't. He will not be completely restored by the end of the week. It will take a couple of days to triage the situation, to get him to who he needs to be seen, and then there probably will be a bunch of different specialists playing roles, or there likely will be a bunch of different specialists playing roles based on what we find out from diagnosis and like I said, imaging and exams.
And finally, will you take a selfie with him when he comes into the office?
If he comes into the office and he lets me and he brings the gold, I'll absolutely take that selfie.
And that would be before you do the work?
Before and after. We like before and after. It's always good.
Okay, hey, it's great having you on. Really appreciate it. We're going to follow the journey.
Thank you so much, Harvey. Really appreciate it.